Hey everybody, Morgana Galaxia here. Welcome back to my channel. I am back to do my part 2 of my trip around the world. So I want to get started today on Iran, okay? So, Iran. And of course you're familiar with that country because Trump pulled us out of the nuclear deal with them. Biden probably wants to get us back in. There's sanctions, there's issues, problems galore with this nation for a long time. All right. I know this is extremely simple. I don't, mean to make anything seem smaller, but just want to get into this energy of Iran and let's take a look-see. Let's take a look-see. All right. I'll bring it down for a minute. All right. Here we go. So for Iran, right off the bat, we have the Moon card, okay? Very interesting. Okay, so the Moon card, this is telling us there's a lot underneath the surface when it comes to Iran. There's a lot of deception or just a lot of things in the shadow, things that are unknown. But yeah, I mean, this could be lies and deception. It's a shadow side of things, and it also has to do with intuition. So when it comes to Iran, what I'm getting here is just, there's many levels of meaning to a relationship with this nation, many levels of meaning in how they conduct themselves on the world stage, okay? Yes, there's going to be some lies and deception, but this also is, with the Moon, this is matters of devotion and passion. The Moon pulls those emotions. They sway your heart. Sorry, just one moment. Sorry about that, everybody. My cat Winnie's favorite thing in life is to walk all over my tarot spreads. So anyways, I was talking about Iran, okay, and the Moon card. And this is just telling me that their national psyche goes really deep. You need to use your intuition and be in touch with your emotional body to interact with them. It's just like they're not dry. It's not about rules, regulations, hierarchy, this kind of thing. They're intuitive, emotional, and this needs to be taken into account when dealing with them, okay? And yes, they're not above using lies and deceit to further their goals because they're working on their shadow self. That nation's shadow is what they're trying to work through with this Moon card. So their challenge with the Four of Pentacles, it's financial, okay? They have some resources. They've got probably a decent foundation, but they're concerned with losing it. So they hold on to their own. They hold close to their own. They're not risk takers when it comes to finances. They'll do what they need to do to shore themselves up and make themselves feel more secure. So again, this is their challenge. So there's something about holding their money close, and not taking risks, being insecure financially, that is draining their energy. So there's something about that they need to take a look at and turn around. Okay, so what are they going to have to face? The Eight of Pentacles. So this is work. High productivity, work at a master level, and it's about money. So in this case, I'm going to say that this has to do with their nuclear program, their uranium enrichment, okay? This is an avenue they see will bring wealth to their nation. Remember, they're trying to shore themselves up. They're feeling insecure, okay? They want more money. This is the avenue that they see to get that. And they have developed some skill and some expertise in this line of work. And they're doing it because for financial reasons. You know, it could simply be energy, a source of energy, for the nation, a source of cheap energy for the nation. But then, of course, there's the shadow side, which we know they're always dealing with here, where you start getting into weapons, okay? So this is what they're going to have to face. Do they want to continue in this industry, and how? Is it going to be for the good of your nation as a source of power? Are you going to, put weapons on the market or try and stir some trouble? They've got a level of expertise here, but they need to come face to face with what kind of nation do they want to be? What are their goals? Okay. So foundationally, they have the card of Temperance. This would actually be a very good foundation card for them. This means that they have the ability to achieve a sense of balance. And that is really what would be needed with nuclear energy, right? I mean, that sort of technology can really go one of two ways, peaceful warfare, okay? So this Temperance card, being their foundation, is telling us they want to balance that, okay? So I think this is telling us they've got both of those goals in mind. Yeah, it could be a source of energy, and it's also going to be a source of protection or warfare, weaponry, whatever. This Temperance wants to balance those two routes, those two paths forward. I wasn't necessarily trying to go into the nuclear energy program here, but I think that's really where we're going with this card. Temperance is often considered to be a divinely guided or divinely protected as well. So, the US, I believe, has the stance of, okay, they just need to stop. Okay, they just should not have nuclear energy, period. And maybe that's maybe that extreme position needs to really be looked at. Do they not have their sovereign right to do some research if it benefits their nation, benefits their people? Obviously, if you start going down the road of weaponry and warfare, then yes, we must be like, okay, cray, right? Stop that. So I guess what I'm saying is, foundationally to them, and what we need to keep in mind as we're dealing with this nation, is a sense of balance. A sense of balance. Extremes are just not going to work here. Okay, so where they're coming from in the past is the Six of Cups. And this reminds me of an article I read once of Iran, and it was talking about the people, okay? Not the government, but it was talking about the people and how they're, just very kind, very giving and generous people, but also very modern. They had a modern society, women in the workforce, more equality than what you'd expect there with women. Just, the architecture and the wealth that they had. And they basically was essentially saying that they're not how a lot of people think of them, as some sort of backward Middle Eastern nation or something like that. No, they've made strides. They have some full cups here. They have things that they're proud of. They are modern. Their people are modern. And it's almost like, according to the article, it's really just the government, right, that was sort of keeping them back. But the people themselves, they just had so much to offer the world. And I think that's what this card is telling us right here. They've got a lot to offer. They have a lot in their cups. They just need a government who will do right by them and allow them to prosper as a creative and loving nation, and not always try and keep them behind with whatever their religious issues are, and, fussing with the US and blah, 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 all these international relation type stuff. Might not be serving their people as well as it could be, because where they're coming from here, is a really good place. I feel like they have a lot of national pride. There's a lot of things they're proud of, and that's what should be encouraged and brought forth. So where they're going to be going is the Nine of Pentacles. I was just looking at all these pentacles here. Nine of Pentacles. Okay, so the Nine of Pentacles is the luxury card. Or is that the 10? Well, whichever. This is just telling us that they have a lot of, there's hope and optimism here with the Sun. But, they're guarded. They feel like they need protection here with this Wolf guarding this money. So I feel like maybe where they're going is they're going to be concerned about their money. So I'm feeling sanctions here, okay? I think if sanctions were lifted, this would be something that would draw them to the table. If you continually withhold money, withhold resources, withhold in an attempt to impoverish the nation, to pressure the government, then they're going to go into protective mode, okay? Protective mode. So again, it's like this Temperance. It's all about the balance. Extreme positions are not going to be beneficial here. There's potential, and then there's that protection. And yeah, there's something here. I'm just going to say there's something about, well, of course, Iran would want sanctions removed. They want to be more active in the financial economy, in the world economy. And as far as the nuclear program goes, yeah, they're going to protect it. They're going to protect it because they see it as a source of wealth. And the U.S. government and any other governments dealing with this nation, they really need to take that into account seriously. They're a sovereign nation. So I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm pro-Iran and we should do this or we should do that. No, I'm not. I don't know enough. All I can see, the story these cards are telling me right now is they want to use their wealth, probably from nuclear energy, nuclear technology. They want to use that as a route to wealth, to benefit their nation, and to benefit their peoples. So that is the case, but as the U.S. and other countries know, this nation is still dealing with their shadow issues. There's still danger, okay? There's still things that are hidden. There's things that are unknown. There's secrets there, and that is why the face of this card, if they do want to move on, be sort of more sovereign, right? Not have people worrying about their nuclear programs, or if they just want more leeway, more rights, more respect, they really got to start addressing these issues right here, okay? Otherwise, everyone else is just going to be too scared to let them pickup card to let them do their work and accumulate their money. Okay, so that's what I got for Iran. And the next place I want to look is North Korea. Okay, so North Korea, the big question for North Korea is Kim Jong-un alive? If he's alive, is he in a coma? Oh, there's a lot of conspiracies around that, right? He's dead. He's in a coma. His sister's taken power. But the military doesn't like, that female leadership. Maybe she's a little cray-cray. That seems to run in the family. Do they got body doubles coming out pretending to be Kim Jong-un? Or, are all the readers basically wrong and this guy recovered and is leading his nation? There's a lot there with Iran. Trump's great love. Remember? We're in love. I'll tell you, Biden is not going to be in love with Kim Jong-un. Okay, North Korea. I believe this was the country that Obama told Trump would be his biggest challenge on the international stage. North Korea. Spirit, tell us about North Korea. Okay. All right, let's bring it down for North Korea. There's my dear leader right there. All right. Oof. Okay, North Korea. We're starting off with the Six of Wands, okay? And basically, okay, like I said, here's the golden sun. There's our dear leader. There's everyone who's forced to, bend the knee in front of him. This is the nation. This is his nation. He's the dictator. He says what goes. He is the center, the star, the lotus star of that nation. And that's pretty clear. So his challenge with the Six of Swords. So, okay, my first thought is he's gone. Okay, his spirit has left. He's flown off. He's left, his body behind perhaps, and his spirit's gone over these waters. Okay, that's just the first thing. Well, let's move past that. There's always layers in these cards. So his challenge with this card is, being tempted to take off, to leave, to, cross turbulent waters to a calmer shore. I'm sorry, guys, but to me, that's just moving on to the other side. His whole nation is turbulent. They don't leave, right? They're a no-travel country. He doesn't travel around the world, right? He stays in North Korea. Where else would he go? Where else would he go to smoother shores? Unless, The only other thing I would say is, if whoever's in power in that nation, it's turbulent. It's difficult. There's turbulent waters in North Korea, and whoever's the leader at this time really is struggling to reach a better place, to reach a smoother place. But yeah, I'm just going to say he's gone. All right, and what is North Korea facing? What are they facing with these Nine of Wands? Incomplete work. So, whatever was their goals was almost done. One more staff to go. They're close to completion of a huge project, a huge plan, a huge endeavor. They're almost done, but not quite. There's one more piece to go. So I don't know what that work would be in North Korea. But see the sun emerging behind the clouds, this is something they feel could benefit them. Once they get done with that last wand, maybe that sun will fully emerge and they'll come out into the light somehow. But there's some huge endeavor that they're close to completing. So again, they also are ones that work on the missiles and the weapons or whatever. Maybe they've got something going on that they're close to completing. Okay, foundationally, with the Page of Swords, okay, so what I'm getting here is foundationally, what I see is here's this, they love to lob those missiles, don't they? They're always just doing these missile tests. And here it is, this air. The sword is all about that air element, flying through the air. And here they are, lobbing another missile. So I am guessing that they're very close to completing work on something that has to do with missiles. This is their thing. But this page is telling us that it's only reached a certain level of sophistication, a certain level of, maybe the weapons can only go so far. It's a juvenile attempt. It's a juvenile level of work. They've not reached a mastery level, not a queen, not a king. Their vision is limited, okay? And part of it is probably just that they're isolated. They don't have a bigger vision of what else can be. They're just stuck with the same old goal of lobbing these missiles. That's really all that's going on with this page. All right. So in their immediate past, we've got Temperance. So Temperance is a card, again, of balance. Finding balance. This is in their past. So the only thing that I can think of regarding balance is, Kim Jong-un's crazy love life with Trump. Trump got hammered for, the Rocket Man and all the childish. Look at this page. There's childishness. Anyways, childishness there. And this, I feel like these two bullies were on the playground together, Kim Jong-un and Trump, calling each other names, throwing their poo at each other, having their little spat. But what happened in the end, they actually managed, and it's a miracle, okay? Anything happens with Trump that doesn't end in death and destruction, I think, is a miracle. But they came to a balance. They balanced out their relationship. They came to an agreement. They sort of ratcheted down the tension somewhat. And I think that's where this is going right here. It was momentary, but it has led into today. Especially given that there's a good chance Kim Jong-un isn't in power anymore. So this might be the Temperance is talking about too. With his removal, they were able to, step back, take a breather, bring some balance to maybe some of these situations they're dealing with, buy themselves some time, okay? Oh, but here we go. Where are they going to be moving into? We've got the Devil card. Got the Devil card. So this tells me whatever problems we have with North Korea, they're definitely not over. Problems are going to increase. We're going to be dealing with the devil when it comes to North Korea. If Kim Jong-un is indeed dead or in a coma or incapacitated, and it is his sister who's running the country, claims that she is crazy and even worse than him, might be true, okay? We're going to be dancing with the devil with North Korea in the coming future. So, lies, violence, deceit, that's lies, addictions, codependency, being chained to your leader, all those horrible things, it's the devil. It's the devil. And so let's keep our eye out on the news for North Korea, and let's try and figure out who's really in charge over there. And I suspect if it's the sister, she is crazy. I understand the military are already trying to figure out a way to sideline her. If a military coup happens or some other relative in the family, takes the reins there, some sort of coup. Yeah, that's devil energy right there. So things are not looking good for North Korea. All right. So I did want to also just take a look at some of our friends, okay? Canada, they're our neighbor to the north, headed by the very handsome Justin Trudeau. And Canada. So the big issue, I guess, with Canada right now is that oil pipeline. that's really dirty, right? And Biden kind of put a stop to that. Trump wanted to continue with that. Biden put a stop to it. Some big rich energy guy in Canada started to complain. It's like, screw you. We're not going to just continually botch the land and harm the environment and all this just so a couple rich guys can get richer. But anyways, let me get off my soap opera, my soapbox. Canada, our friends to the north, they still don't lock their doors, right? They're safe, friendly, nice. Canada. All right, let's just take a little quick look-see at Canada. I'll bring you down. All right. Canada. Oof. All right. So, swords all over the place. Well, meh. All right. So we're starting off, face card is the Ace of Swords. So in this case, I'm going to say, this is a sword of truth, the sword of justice, and Canada has a wealth of that. They are, by all accounts, a well-run nation. Their population is happy, well cared for. They don't have a lot of the drama that the U.S. has. They're just all around good people. They've got a sense of fairness and justice and honor and truth. And this is just a great card to represent them. The sword also indicates that they're very intelligent, very smart the way they go about things. They've got good ideas. They've got good follow through. It's a great nation. All right, so what is their challenge with this Five of Wands right here? Just partisanship. There's probably a lot of, I don't know much about their government, if they're a two-party or multi-party government, but this is talking about partisanship. Lots of different groups have their own ideas about things, and they just fuss it out. They fight it out, not necessarily physically. This is an ideological argument here, okay? So they have a very dynamic government, and this is a challenge to them. So this means that, they would be better off if this was a little smoother, but good luck with that. That's politics. So what are they going to be facing? With the Four of Cups, this tells us that they're going to have some choices to make that they don't really like. Choices to make they don't really like. And it might cause them to be apathetic or procrastinate. But they're holding out for the right thing. So what is this in regards to? This is, cups. So something emotional based. I don't really know enough about their internal politics. All I know is that what they're going to have to come face to face with is making a decision among a group of decisions that they don't really like. Okay. Foundationally, with the Seven of Pentacles, this indicates to me that they are, that they're well taken care of. They're happy. They're wealthy in whatever way they define wealth. They're able to pad their nests, take care of their homes, take care of their families. They've got some ease with these pentacles. They've got some ease. They're happy peoples. They're wealthy, not like America is wealthy, quote unquote, i.e. the elites are wealthy, but this is shared. This is in families. So that's a wonderful foundation. Home life, security, having what you need, being well taken care of. This is the foundation of their nation. So that's awesome for them. Okay, so the energy they've just come through, this is the Five of Swords, and this is about vicious battles. Vicious battles. So, of course, my first thought is this is probably them fussing with Trump. But I think Justin has been a little embattled lately. I think people were complaining about him. What did he do? Was it about women? Oh, he did something. He did something that pissed a bunch of people off. Um, but that was in the past, and I think he's over that hurdle now. But this tells us in the past there was some sort of vicious fighting here. Some sort of fighting that had to do with being righteous, you know. You did something that was so wrong and fighting it out. But that's in the past. It is energy though that moves through the reading and moves into the future. Oof. 10 of Swords. Okay, so this is downfall. This is downfall. Okay, so I'm getting pulled back towards this oil pipeline. Okay, the feeling that I'm getting here, yeah, I think this is about the oil pipeline. I'm going to bring it back down for a second. Okay, so the feeling I'm getting here is, you know, when it comes to oil and running pipelines through natural wilderness and, you know, the environment, you got to probably make a choice that you don't like. You know, you got to weigh your options, pick the least worst choice. So I definitely think that that was something that happened here. You know, they got a lot of resources and a lot of vision with the swords. But people were fighting it. You know, yeah, this oil guy maybe thought, well, he probably thought it would make him rich. But does it make the nation rich? I don't know. They had a big old fight about it. Again, this partisanship, everybody's arguing over it. With this 10 of Swords here, this is downfall. So I want to say, okay, it got killed, right? This isn't happening. Biden killed it. And this oil person in Canada, you know, fought against shutting this pipeline down, but he failed. It is going to get shut down as far as I understand. So in that way, this project is dead. It's been killed. So this certainly isn't Justin Trudeau. I do believe he's doing fine. So I think that we're dealing with, yeah, this is the environmental issue with this oil thing. There's a lot of internal within the nation, a lot of arguing about it. They had to make some choices they're going to have to make a choice that they don't like. So if Biden killed this thing, then Canada's going to have to sort of make some decisions around that, right? How are they going to tighten that story up? How are they going to close it out? Are there alternatives they need to look at? Are there lawsuits? Are they going to be sued? I don't know, but in the future, yeah, there's some issues going to be coming up for them around this, but this is telling me that project is dead, dead. And you know, foundationally, they don't need it. They don't need it. They're perfectly happy families. They're not impoverished. This isn't some sort of lifeline for them. This is just all about enriching certain people, certain groups, whatever. But I think it's dead. I think it's dead. Okay, so that's what I've got for Canada. And lastly, I want to take a look at Britain. Boris Johnson's Britain. And, you know, as you probably all know, they finally hammered out this Brexit deal, which, you know, I don't know the details. I know I kind of pseudo followed along with Brexit. I know how serious it was, that it really, you know, this exit is really going to impact like Ireland and Scotland. And there's just a lot of sketchy politics going on there. Nobody's a fan of Boris Johnson. And now they're out, right? It's done. They have exited. They've exited the European Union. So let's take a look at Britain. What's in store for Britain? What is Britain looking like? So now it's just Britain and the Queen's Commonwealth. All right. Britain. Boris Johnson. Show us Britain. Brexit. How is Britain doing? How is Britain doing? All right, let's take a look. All right, Britain, Britain, Britain. Oh my. One moment. Sorry, you guys. All right. Britain. We're starting out with the Hermit card. Okay, well, that seems very fitting. Brexit's done. Sometimes these cards, and they're isolated, all right? They're by themselves now. They're the only ones in their tree. They're isolated. And now they're going to have to sit there by themselves and start thinking, was that the right strategy? Was that the right thing to do? Was this a smart move? It's all about internal, finding wisdom, figuring out strategy, figuring out how to follow the light, how to move forward in their highest potential, how to self-actualize themselves into the best nation they can be. This is what they're going to be thinking about as they sit there alone and isolated. Their challenge is the Wheel of Fortune. So their challenge, okay. So the Wheel of Fortune, fortune changes. What goes up must come down, right? What goes down must come up. When this is in the challenge position, this is telling us that fortune is going to start going down. Their challenge is that, the Wheel of Fortune's turning, but not in a good way for them. It's going to be very challenging. They've got some karma to pay, okay? This is the karma card. This is karmic. This is a major arcana card. So this was fated, definitely fated, this whole situation. So in a way that's good, because things that are fated happen to get you from a lower level to a higher level, right? You got a lesson to learn, and if you learn it, you can evolve. That's all about what the Wheel of Karma is. Being in the challenge position, they're going to be going through it, you guys. This is not going to be an easy situation for them by any means. I think they're going to see their fortunes declining, but that wheel always keeps turning, always keeps turning. So that means that it will be a temporary. Now, I don't mean days or weeks here, probably years, okay? Probably years, but eventually, the wheel will turn its way back up. But for right now, it's going down. That's really unfortunate, but also expected. Okay, so what are they going to be facing? They're going to be facing judgment. So moving forward, they're really going to have to hash out their relationships with each nation, right? They have to renegotiate trade deals. They have to renegotiate this and that and figure out this and that. And each decision to be made is going to be a judgment on them. They are continually going to have to come face to face with their own actions. That's what the judgment is all about. You are finally held to account for what you have done. Judgment is passed against you, but then you can move on, right? It's an ending in that way, is that you finally had your comeuppance, and now you can begin to move past that. So they're going to be facing some comeuppances. They're going to be facing some judgments. They're going to have to deal with the outcome of this decision they made to exit from the European Union. And other nations, they might not be so inclined to bend over backwards and be super nice and give Britain everything they want. Each nation is going to be trying to benefit themselves, or, which is natural. You try and, make the best deal you can for your nation and your peoples. It's going to be tough for Britain to deal with. things aren't always going to go their way. Some of those judgments are going to be a little tough, right? Yeah. And gosh, just looking at this card, I almost feel like, I'm not going to say there's warfare here, but not warfare, but more, this is an international, like an international call to action. Yeah, it's just this judgment, it just is what it is, just what I said. They're just going to have to come face to face with their own actions and try and move past that and move forward in a better way. So in the past, we've got the Five of Pentacles. This is the poverty card. Okay, this is being outcast, thrown out of the institution. So, in this case, it was they self-exiled themselves. They've exiled themselves. They left the European Union. They weren't tossed out. But they're definitely feeling they're feeling like they're out in the cold. This might have been why they went through Brexit. I'm definitely getting a sense here they felt, oh, here we go again, just one moment. All right, so the feeling I'm getting here is like, I believe the complaint with the European Union was these nations weren't sovereign anymore. There was a authority, I wouldn't say a government, but if each of these nations, they have their own government. But now they're a union. Who heads the union? Not any elected officials from these nations. There was a different kind of, let's say, elite group to control the entire union. That was a huge problem for Britain. They didn't feel sovereign anymore. It's like, who are these nameless, faceless elitists who are calling the shots for all these European nations? We don't want to have nothing to do with that. They're not making the rules to benefit us. They're not, there was a concern there that there was another agenda that wasn't about benefiting Britain or any other nation, okay? So they kind of threw themselves out. That was what Brexit was all about. They wanted to keep their sovereignty. Yeah, that's what that is right there. They just felt like they didn't want to be a part of that because someone else is calling the shots. It's a very valid argument. Just ask Greece and Portugal, right? Okay, so where are they moving forward with the with the Strength card? Well, this is a great card. If they're going to be moving forward, okay, yeah, they're going to be moving forward, and they will, over time, build their strength. They'll build their endurance. They'll build their self-control. They're going to have to, strength, this Strength card really represents that quiet, gentle strength. By keeping your emotions in check, by not being a threat, you can approach the beast, okay? It also has to do with patience. So I think this is calling on Brits to be patient, control your emotions, get your vision in line, know what the long range goal is, and just patiently build your strength, move forward. Just keep moving forward. Eventually they'll be in a better place. It's not going to be easy and it's not going to be quick. Okay, they're feeling really isolated right now. They're in a very precarious situation. But this is telling us that they can be strong again. They can be strong again. It's not going to be through weapons, and it's not going to be through being an economic powerhouse or something like that. This strength is this kind of strength you have in your own heart, your own fortitude. Okay, so this is just telling them where they're going to be going. They're going to really have to be self-reliant, patient, and just keep the long-term goal in mind. Okay, so that's all I've got for Britain, and that was kind of, and I know there's a million other countries out there in the world, but I think that's going to be it for my trip around the world. Maybe if I ever get it again, I'll hit, you know, frankly, I'm really worried about India with COVID. There's so many people there. But I think that might be for another reading. Until then, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your views and you sticking with me through my videos. And just take care out there and have a great week, okay? Bye.